Most people will spend their entire lives chasing, grinding, and hoping, yet never hold in their hands the life they truly want. Not because they lacked talent, not because they lacked opportunity, but because they never dared to ask. The truth is simple. The door to success does not open to those who knock timidly. It opens to those who step forward with clarity and say exactly what they want. The art of asking is the hidden key. It is older than every business book you have ever read. It is written in every story of greatness. Behind every achievement, there was a moment when someone made a clear request. They asked for the job, they asked for the deal, they asked for the chance. And the world, in its own mysterious way, moved to deliver. When you ask, you trigger a process that is both mental and emotional. It is like pressing a button deep within your mind, and a silent machine begins to move. Opportunities, ideas, and people start to shift in your direction. You do not need to understand every mechanism. You only need to trust that it works. The problem is, most people never press that button. They work hard, they show up, they keep their heads down, and wonder why nothing changes. Think of the difference between a good worker and a good asker. A good worker can keep a company running. A good asker can change the company forever. Which do you think creates more impact in the long run? Which do you think shapes their own destiny, instead of waiting for it to arrive? But asking is not just about words. It is about definition. The first question is not what you say to others. It is what you say to yourself. What do you want? Not vaguely, not someday. Exactly. Right now. Your mind cannot chase what your heart has not named. Vague desires create vague results. Specific desires create a pull so strong you cannot escape them. Imagine standing in a vast library, with every book holding a different life you could live. If you walk in and say, "Give me a good book," the librarian will stare, confused. But if you say, "I want the leather-bound edition of this exact title, in this exact language," they will walk straight to the shelf and place it in your hands. Life works the same way. It is ready to deliver if you are ready to be specific. I have seen people who mastered this art change their lives in months. They did not wait for permission. They did not sit hoping to be noticed. They asked. They asked for the meeting. They asked for the raise. They asked for the collaboration. And yes, they heard no many times. But the yes that came changed everything. You see, asking is not weakness. It is not begging. It is leadership. It is declaring your direction so others can choose to align with you. Leaders are not silent about their vision. They invite others into it. And the invitation begins with the courage to ask. There is a moment in every life when the ocean of possibility is in front of you. If you hesitate, the tide moves on. If you step forward and ask, you step into the current that can carry you to places you never imagined. The ocean does not ask if you are ready. It waits for you to ask if it is possible. So here is the first shift. Become a good asker. Train yourself to define what you want so clearly that when you speak it, the air feels different. Let your words carry direction. Let your request be a signal to the universe and to every person within reach. Say it once with hesitation, and the world will ignore it. Say it with clarity and conviction, and you will feel reality start to bend. The world does not belong to those who wait quietly in the corner. It belongs to those who walk to the center, look life in the eye, and ask. If you understood how the universe works, you would stop worrying about how to receive. Receiving is the easy part. The hard part is asking. And that is where most people fail. They believe that if they just work hard enough, the rewards will automatically find them. But life is not a silent observer who rewards you out of pity. It responds to direction. It responds to the signals you send. When you ask, you send a clear signal. When you do not ask, your silence becomes a signal too. It tells the world you are content with what you have, and so it leaves you exactly where you are. I once knew a man who had worked at the same company for over 20 years. Every day he arrived before sunrise. Every day he stayed until long after others had gone home. He was loyal. He was capable. He was invisible. He had never once asked for a promotion, a raise, or a new opportunity. He thought his work would speak for itself, but work only speaks when you give it a voice. And that voice is asking. Receiving is not the problem. The world is not short on money, opportunity, or success. These things are not rationed like water in a desert. They are more like the ocean, endless, moving, ready to be drawn from. But if you walk to the ocean with a teaspoon, you cannot blame the ocean for how little you carry home. This is the tragedy of small thinking. People believe they must wait until they are worthy to ask for more. But worthiness is not a ticket you wait to be handed. It is something you claim by deciding you are ready. The size of your request will often determine the size of your reward. Small requests bring small returns. Large, clear, confident requests draw large returns. So why do we hesitate to ask? Fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of looking foolish. Fear that asking will make us seem greedy. But greed is wanting without giving. Asking is declaring the value you can create, and the exchange you are willing to make. It is not greed to expect a reward for what you have built. It is alignment. There is another reason people fail to ask. They think the opportunity is gone. They imagine that success is limited, that the window has already closed. But this is a lie. Opportunities do not vanish. They shift. They move. And if you keep asking, you will find them again. If receiving is automatic, then your real work is to build the courage to ask more and ask bigger. If you are standing at the edge of the ocean, ask yourself, what am I here with? A teaspoon, a cup, or a bucket? Because your container is your belief, and your belief determines what you will carry away. The second shift is this. Stop wondering why you are not getting more. Start asking for it. Ask for the meeting you think you are not ready for. Ask for the price you believe your work deserves. Ask for the opportunity you think is too big. And when you do, you will discover something astonishing. Most of the time, the answer is yes. Life is not about waiting to be chosen. It is about choosing yourself first, then making the request that turns that choice into reality. Success is not scarce. It is not a rare metal hidden deep in the earth. It is an ocean, endless, powerful, overflowing. Yet most people walk to its shore carrying nothing but a teaspoon. They dip it in, take a drop, and walk away thinking, is that all there is? They never stop to realize that the size of what they take home has nothing to do with the ocean and everything to do with the container they brought. This is the reality most people ignore. You get in life the size of what you are prepared to receive. Bring a teaspoon, you get a teaspoon life. Bring a bucket, you get a bucket life. Bring a tanker, and suddenly you are living in abundance so vast you cannot count it. The ocean does not care who you are, where you come from, or what you have done before. It only responds to your capacity. Capacity is not built overnight. It is stretched by your vision. If your dreams are small, your capacity will stay small. But when you dare to imagine something greater, you begin to stretch the limits of what you believe you can handle. And that belief changes everything. Think about the people you admire most. They do not approach life timidly. They do not think, maybe just enough for me to get by. They step forward with a vision so big it forces them to grow. Oprah did not start with an empire, but she had the capacity for one long before it existed. Elon Musk did not begin with rockets. He began with the belief that he could contribute to humanity on a scale that required rockets. Too many people stand at the shore and argue about whether the ocean is real, whether it is fair, whether it will last. All the while, others are hauling bucket after bucket of opportunity and turning it into something tangible. While some debate, others act, and those who act win. But here is the hard truth. Carrying a bigger bucket means you will be noticed. People will question you. Some will mock you. They will say you are greedy. They will say you are unrealistic. Let them talk. Because in the end, the only people whose opinions matter are the ones who are helping you carry it. The third shift is simple to understand but hard to practice. Trade your teaspoon for a bucket, not just in your dreams, but in your daily actions. Ask for more, expect more, build more capacity. Say yes to bigger challenges, even before you feel ready. When you do, you will start to realize that the ocean has been waiting all along, wondering when you would finally stop being afraid to take what was always there. Life is not rationed. Success is not handed out in limited tickets. The supply is infinite. The only question is, will you come to the shore prepared to take it? Asking is not about wishful thinking. It is not about throwing vague desires into the wind and hoping something lands. It is about precision, clarity, focus. Intelligent asking transforms goals from distant dreams into powerful magnets that pull you forward day after day. What does it mean to ask with intelligence? It means defining every detail of what you want. Not just saying I want more money, but deciding exactly how much, by when, and for what purpose. Not just saying I want a better life, but describing what that life looks like in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. Intelligent asking turns your goal into something so specific, your mind has no choice but to notice every path that leads there. This is why vague goals fail. A mind without a clear target will wander. But a mind with a target, detailed and exact, will begin to filter reality. It will see opportunities others overlook. It will connect dots others cannot even see. This is not magic. It is how your brain is wired. The more specific the request, the more your brain will lock onto the signals that matter. Consider Jim Carrey. Long before fame, he wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered. He dated it for 5 years in the future. He carried it in his wallet until the ink faded. And when the time came, he was paid that exact amount for a movie role. That is the magnet effect. A clear, measurable, and vivid request pulling you toward itself. Asking with intelligence also means asking the right people in the right way at the right time. It means doing your homework, preparing your case, and presenting it with confidence. Do not mumble. Do not hide behind vague words. Be bold and clear. Say what you mean, and mean what you say. There is a rhythm to intelligent asking. First, you define it for yourself. Second, you prepare yourself to handle it. Third, you present it so clearly that no one is confused about what you want or why you deserve it. Most people fail at the first step. They never truly define what they want. Without that, the rest of the process never begins. And here is the deeper truth. The act of defining your goal changes you. It forces you to face the gap between where you are and where you want to be. That gap can feel uncomfortable. It should, because discomfort is the birthplace of growth. The fourth shift is this. Stop asking vaguely. Stop hoping life will read your mind. Turn your goals into magnets so strong they pull you through doubt, fear, and resistance. Write them down. Speak them out loud. Describe them until they are so clear in your mind you can close your eyes and live them in detail. Then, when you ask, the world will not hear a request. It will hear a declaration. Logic will get you started, but faith will carry you through the storms. You can have the clearest goals, the smartest plan, and the biggest bucket, but without faith, your steps will falter at the first sign of resistance. Faith is what allows you to keep moving when the outcome is not yet visible. It is the force that bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Ask with intelligence, yes, but also ask with faith. Faith like a child who has never learned to doubt. A child believes that what they ask for is possible simply because they want it. They do not calculate the odds. They do not list all the reasons it might fail. They believe first, and that belief pulls reality closer. Most adults have traded that childlike faith for skepticism. They protect themselves from disappointment by lowering their expectations. They think small to avoid the pain of being wrong. But when you lower your expectations, you also lower your life. Faith requires risk. It demands that you open yourself to the possibility of both joy and rejection. And that is why so few people practice it. Consider Walt Disney. He faced over 300 rejections when seeking funding for Disneyland. At any point, logic could have told him to stop. But faith kept him moving. He saw it in his mind long before the first brick was laid. And that vision, that unwavering belief, turned into one of the most visited places on earth. Faith does not mean you sit and wait. It means you move with the certainty that what you are moving toward already exists in potential. You make plans like an adult, structured, strategic, well thought out, but you believe in them like a child, innocent, excited, unshaken by doubt. When you ask with faith, people will notice. They will feel the conviction in your words. Conviction is magnetic. It draws resources, allies, and opportunities that logic alone could never reach. Faith speaks to something deeper in people, a reminder of what they once believed was possible. The fifth shift is this. Stop letting skepticism rob you of your dreams. Ask with faith, even if it makes you look naive, even if it scares you. Because the truth is, the greatest achievements in history were made by people who looked impossible until they succeeded. Plan like an adult, believe like a child, and watch the most extraordinary things unfold. So here we are. 5 shifts, 5 keys that can take you from waiting to receiving. The art of asking, the courage to ask more, the wisdom to bring a bigger bucket, the intelligence to make your goals magnetic, and the faith to move even when the path is not yet clear. The ocean of success is in front of you. It has always been there. It will always be there, but it will not step onto the shore for you. You must walk to it. You must choose the container you bring. And you must decide whether you will spend your life dipping a teaspoon or filling a bucket. For the next 90 days, try this. Ask for what you want clearly, intelligently, with faith. Do it every day. Small asks, big asks. Stretch yourself until asking becomes your nature. Watch how the world responds when you speak your desires into it without fear. And when the first unexpected yes arrives, remember this moment, because you will have proof that the formula works. Most people will never do this. They will live their lives in silence, waiting for someone to notice them. But not you. You have heard the truth. You know the ocean is waiting. The only question now is whether you will walk toward it. Bring your bucket. The tide is high, and the time is now.